Breaking. Over 200 Black Americans rediscover their roots back to Ghana and find their way to the motherland. Why are so many foreigners coming to Ghana, especially Black Americans? And when they are coming, they always come in huge number. What is causing this? Before we go to watch documentaries that I brought for you to watch, I'm Delicious Army. Here I talk Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and all the good stuff relating to them. Kindly like and subscribe. Let's watch people's reactions.
Here is why African Americans are moving to Ghana. Ghana was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence, and this was under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah. It is this status that motivated the migration of African Americans. They looked up to Ghana as the new promised land, compared to how they were unfairly treated in America. The country served as an inspiration to people of African descent, whether they were originally from Ghana or not. American civil rights activist and writer W.E.B. Du Bois also settled in Ghana till his death, and he was buried in Accra. At the time of migration, he and some other activists moved to Ghana to contribute to the development of the country and also escape racism in the United States. Kwame Nkrumah welcomed the African Americans into the country, and he even brought the civil rights activists into his inner circle as advisors and political allies. And since that time, more African Americans have applied for permanent residence in Ghana. To encourage their migration and visits, the country decided to offer them a special visa. We're also aware that many Americans visited Ghana last Christmas.
No other country has given this many people citizenship or welcomed us back like Ghana has. And so we're so thankful. We're so grateful.
What does this Ghana citizen means to you?
Oh, okay. So my grandmother was a cotton picker in the States. So what people don't know is that after slavery, people became sharecroppers. They ended up cropping and they were not allowed the freedoms. So my grandmother picked cotton. She had no shoes on her feet, hands all messed up, and she told me the stories. And so for us, this means coming back and just being welcomed back to Africa. So we're officially like African Americans. Previously, we're just like, okay, we're Americans, we're Black Americans, and calling ourselves African Americans, but Ghana has made it, this is our home. Yeah.
According to this lady, she gave us the reasons why so many foreigners always choose Ghana. Why so many foreigners, after doing their whole research, making a lot of consideration, Ghana is always that place they consider first. She gave the example of late Kwame Nkrumah and a whole lot of things Ghana has done, especially when it comes to gaining independence and being the pace setter when it comes to putting Africa on the global map for something good. Now let's also watch this documentary of a lady and her daughter who rediscovered and retraced their roots back to motherland Ghana.
They have gone to Ghana in search of their roots. Professor Tani Sanchez and her daughter Tani Sylvester are making this trip in honor of Sanchez's great-great-grandmother, Mary Ann Moss, who was born into slavery in Alabama around 1838. Moss was married to a Black Union soldier named Charles Wright. DNA testing showed a direct link between Wright and the Ashanti ethnic group in Ghana. And now, as she listens to the drum beats welcoming her to Ghana, Sanchez weeps. This is her homecoming.
I feel much more connected, and I look at people and I say, oh my goodness, that could have been, these people could be related to me. These people probably knew my grandmother's grandmother's grandmother. I mean, it blows me away.
Sanchez spent a long time researching her ancestry, a quest which she compiled into a published book. In such cases, historians often reach dead ends due to a lack of personal records. It was genetic testing that gave Sanchez and others like her hope that DNA could shed light on their family's long-lost origins. Now she hopes to locate the exact family that she belonged to. During the ceremony, she met Ashanti chief Nana Boakie and asked him if he could do a genetic test to find out if they share any genetic links. He agreed.
You want to take a vertical shot? Okay.
For Sanchez's 40-year-old daughter, the visit to Asin Manso River, where slaves took a final bath before imprisonment on the coast, was a transformative experience.
We're retracing the footsteps of our ancestors, exactly. I mean, there's something
it's impact, like there's something healing about that. They also visited the harrowing Cape Coast castle, where slaves were chained and organized into dungeons before walking through the door of no return to board the ships.
Thinking of the same route they took and how they must have felt going to a new world and not really understanding anything. And here I am 400 years later and I'm free.
Wow. I believe that so many Black Americans are choosing Ghana. Why? Because when it comes to the transatlantic slavery and a whole lot of things, Ghana is like that center. Ghana is where more of it happened. Yes, Ghana is that country in Africa that I've always said in this channel gate keeps their African culture, gatekeeps their African belief. So when you live in the diaspora for years and you want to come back to Africa, you do not want to go to a country in Africa where you still get that foreign vibe. You want to go to a place in Africa where you will get that local authentic vibe you believe you are missing in the diaspora. And that is why many of them choose Ghana. Many of these Black Americans are saying that America is not safe for them as Black people, unlike in the days of their fathers. Many of them are complaining of a whole lot of things going on in America, saying that they are choosing Ghana because Ghana is safer for them. Ghana is where they find peace. Ghana is where they find rest and a whole lot of things. You all know what has been going on in American schools, American colleges. Many of them are saying they are bringing their children to Ghana to come and study. At least they are sure that nobody will just come up and delete their child for no reason. Well, to me, like I would say, the African parenting has played a huge role in that, context. Here in Africa, if your child misbehaves, your child will be disciplined. Either your child will be spanked or your child will be, sent back home. Unlike in the diaspora where, cautioning of children is highly prohibited. In fact, the government lays out rules and regulations on how you can caution your child. And if you go against that, the child service, authorities will just come and pick up your child. But that is why in Africa you tend to see more disciplined children. I'm not saying we don't have ill-mannered children in Africa. We have a lot of them. But you tend to see more disciplined children. Why? Because the African system believes that spare the rod and spoil the child. And this is what many of these Black Americans miss in the US. This is what many of these Black Americans miss in the diaspora. And that is why many of them, when they get any little opportunity, they look for their way back to Africa. So that's just it. And not just that, the neighboring communities, there's something diasporas always complain about, especially Black Americans, Afro. They always complain that there is so much loneliness in the diaspora. Here in Africa, when a woman puts to bed, your mother comes to your house, your father, your in-laws, and it's the whole community that takes care of a child. In Africa, we believe that it's the community that takes care of the child. No one person raises a child. But that is not the same in diaspora. So many of them have seen how they end up being lonely when they get old. Their children take them to elderly people's home. And they know that if they rediscover themselves back to Africa in time, in their old age, even if their children do not have their times or their children are busy raising their own families, they can, rediscover themselves and reconnect with their fellow Black people in their communities. That is why a lot of them are coming back to Africa. Haven't you noticed that apart from those younger generations who are trying to retrace their roots and ancestry back to Ghana, the older generations are trooping into Ghana in large numbers. Why? Because many of them are considering retirement. Many of them are considering old age. Many of them do not want to stay in old people's home. Yes, take it or leave it. In the diaspora is a huge thing because their children are obviously busy. But here in Africa, it's a tradition when your parents are old, you need to look after them. Yes, even if you don't have to live with them personally, but you come visit regularly. And we do not have old people's home here in Africa. So I believe that that's the major reason why many of them are just running to Africa for retirement, for, that socialization. Yes, you've heard a lot, you heard what many of them said. That socialization they cannot get in the diaspora. And also the food. African food is different. Take it or leave it. I have watched a lot of videos of so many diasporans who come into Africa, who come into Ghana, who will tell you that African food is life. They will tell you that when you eat food grown in Africa, that it is just different. And the difference is in the taste is in the different. Like you just feel like you're eating something organic. You just feel like you're eating something natural. And when those people have eaten so much preserved food in the diaspora, they start searching out for other healthier alternatives. So that is why many of them are always trooping down to Africa, and Ghana particularly, because Ghana is that place. Ghana was the first country, amongst Nigeria, South Africa that gained independence. So it's like Ghana saw the light before others. So they're always the pace setters and things like this. And that is why whenever anybody wants to rediscover themselves, they find their way back to motherland Ghana. Lovelies, feel free to drop your own opinions in the comment section. I'm Delicious Army. Here I talk Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and all the good stuff relating to them. I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye bye.